Don't miss out on WPBS TV's Folklore and Frost Tour 2009.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of WPBS Live as we begin a new fall season. And how delighted we are to have you guys join us for this evening. And we have got a humdinger of a program lined up for you tonight. And it's all part of the WPBS Folklore and Frost program that has become so popular throughout the region. There's a bunch of unexplained activity throughout the area, and we're not talking about the latest Albany politics. We're talking about things that go bump in the night, that strange sound or circumstance that seems to follow particular locations throughout our viewing area. So much so, in fact, they become the stuff of legends. Well, we're calling these locations the Big Country and Beyond, Screamer's Hollow, and the Haunted Walk of Kingston and Fort Fright Night. Doesn't it send shivers up your spine? Well, it's going to be that kind of night. Our guests tonight seem to have the ability to explain the unexplainable. I guess we'd call them experts on the supernatural and the paranormal. You remember two of our guests from a season last year, and we have a new guest to our program today, and we'll introduce them to you. On my immediate left, your right, is Reverend Belle Salisbury, who is a psychic. And Belle, very nice to have you on the program.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
And next to Belle is Kate Heuser, who was here last year. And Kate, once again, always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you for having us.
And I noticed you brought your friend Phil Creighton with you this year too, huh?
As always.
Phil and Kate are members of the Shadow Chasers, and we're going to find out more about what in heaven's name that means. And we're going to find out how Belle fits with all of this here in just a second. But let's kind of start with Belle. I guess, Belle, tell me, I guess I don't understand exactly what a psychic is or what a psychic does. What are you and what do you do?
I am a psychic medium, and that's actually having the ability to do two different things. A psychic is an individual who can see things that are going on around you on a physical level, past, present, future. A medium is a person who can see spirit on the other side, what other people probably cannot see in reality with their eyes. So as a medium, I'm able to see and communicate with spirit, giving a description, any messages that they choose to give. So that's what a psychic medium does.
Well, I'll bet you didn't go to college for this
No,
activity.
actually,
so
I did not.
How did this material, where did it come from?
I've had it actually since I was a child. It was something that I was born with, where I always knew things before they would happen, or I would see people standing off to the side that other people could not see.
Wow. Was it scary?
No, actually it would be scary if they weren't there, because I've always known them to be around me. It would actually frighten me more if they weren't around me. Then I would feel alone.
How did you, this had to be something of a discovery to you, because you knew at some point in your life you were different than somebody else.
I did. My siblings obviously couldn't do what I did, or couldn't see what I saw, or know what I knew. And so then I began to realize at a younger age that I was just a little odd or a little different. And as a teenager, I kind of wanted to be normal. So I tried to shut that door. I tried to make it stop or make it go away. And I couldn't. It just wouldn't leave me alone. It would take on its own, command. I remember as a young girl, about 12 years old, I went to the store back in the day when it was safe to walk to the store by yourself. I went to the store for my mother with a couple of my siblings, and while I'm waiting in line to pay for our stuff, I had this feeling that I needed to get a container of salt. And so I went and picked up the salt, and when I walked home and came home, walked in the door, my mom said, I wished I'd remembered and told you to get me some salt. And I pulled the salt out of the container, out of the bag, and she goes, how do you do that? It just kind of spooked her a little bit.
Well, that's a very good question your mother asked. How do you do that?
It's about energy. We each are electromagnetic energy, and each of our bodies resonate at a certain vibrational rate. We find that those people who are of a psychic nature tend to have a more higher vibrational rate. The higher the energy around us, the more, kind of like an antenna, the higher the antenna, the easier it is to make a connection to spirit on the other side.
Well, I introduced you as Reverend Salisbury. Tell us about that.
I am an ordained minister with the Spiritualist Church, and we host Sunday services at our facility, the Whispering Willow, located in Messina, New York. And we are a very laid-back, I like to call us a countrified group. We certainly believe in God, we believe in the Bible, but we also believe in the communication with spirit from the other side through spirit guides and higher beings that are here to teach us and help us along our path to be able to return in good standing.
We'll come back to that in just a little bit. By the way, I want to tell our viewing audience, first of all, we probably should have mentioned this early on, this is an audience participation show. It's one of the few remaining live television broadcasts, certainly in this region. And as a viewer, you're welcome to call with questions, and I'm sure that Belle will try to answer some of those, as will our other guests, and we'll talk to those folks here in a second. One other point I wanted to make, you know, television has a series of sets or backdrops that we always use as part of our programming. It kind of sets the scene. And I think tonight is probably one of the most appropriate backdrops we've ever had in television, and that is this organ. This happened to be an organ from a local mortuary. And so it just seems rather apropos that as we approach the Halloween season and have this folklore and that type of stuff going on, it's a good prop.
So if it starts playing by itself, we know we have visitors.
If that happens, you three will have to carry on by yourself because I will be long gone. But well, anyway, let's swing over here to Kate and Phil. You guys, last year we spent some time kind of tongue-in-cheek early on about the Shadow Chasers and what you guys do, but I'm sure there are people out there tonight who may have missed that. So let me just throw this question out. What is Shadow Chasers? What does that mean, and what do you do there?
Well, the Shadow Chasers is a paranormal research company, organization. There's a few core members, about 4 or 5 of us, and then we accept volunteers from the community. But pretty much what we do is we get called into haunted locations, whether it's a person's house, a place of business, pretty much anywhere. We get called in by people, and we investigate. We have a bunch of different pieces of equipment, and we use those pieces of equipment to analyze the location scientifically. We check for like different spots where there's high energy, and use that and other evidence to determine whether or not a place is haunted.
Basically, we've spent too many years in college and know a lot about all kinds of energy fields and different states of mind, and we piece this all together using basically our site survey gear, electromagnetic field meters, geophysics stuff, electrostatic monitors, whole varieties of things that are there to monitor and detect invisible energies, like magnetism. You can't see it, it's there, but we have a means of measuring it. Same thing for electricity. You can see it when it comes to a light bulb, but you can't detect the field from it. We have stuff to measure that. And what we do is, when you're localizing it, you go, okay, this is coming from the wiring, this is coming from this. What happens is you'll end up with a free-floating spot. And it's like, this isn't connected to the wiring, this isn't connected to anything else. What's it from? And that's where we sort of tie things together with everything points at this one anomaly, saying something, doing something. And you're like, okay, and that's where we turn to psychics to go, hey, what could this